Okay, we need to talk. This is not exactly going to be an easy one to talk about because YouTube is still protecting the false doctors, the false practices. I don't know what else to call them. I guess I'm used to saying the false Jews, which are really Edomites, and those are the ones that occupy present day Israel. Palestine is the real name of that country. And here we have a president who's decided he's going to steal the Palestinians' land and give it to the Israelis, the Edomites, like he did with the Golan Heights, and he wants to do with the West Bank. Now, I think it's wonderful that he opened his mouth before he asked anybody, because we got a full reveal as to who he works for. He works for Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu. I believe I heard quite a while back that the two of them went to some sort of preparatory school together. They were classmates. And I'm so glad for the picture of him pushing the chair in to seat Bibi. And Bibi, just bubbling effervescence. Just happy as could be. I mean, because Trump was going to take Gaza away, and he's going to turn it into a paradise. He's going to turn it into luxury living. Come on, man. Those people don't need luxury living. They need living, period. And he failed. He failed to ask the neighbors what they thought of this, and there's nobody in the region who's all for his plan. So I'm glad he screwed up. So now we know whose side he's on. He's not on America's side. There's only one thing to unite America, and that is all of us joining together to restore the original structure our founders gave us. And just to remind you, that means the real 13th Amendment, while all subsequent amendments null and void. Yeah, we screwed up that long ago, that badly, in 1813. March 4th, 1813, the Congress set the Bar Association attorneys in clear violation of the real 13th Amendment, which the ninth state to vote on it and to get it fully ratified was the state of Virginia. Another problem is that the cause of all cancers are mycotoxins. That means poisons that are put off by mushrooms, fungi, spores, molds, yeast. You need to understand that. That was a publication in 2001, and YouTube gave me a bunch of shit about making statements about it, saying it went against the World Health Organization. Oh, fucking really? Really? Then look at the lead physician's credentials on that report. The lead author's credentials, he's an MD. Really? And where does he have a job? Oh, at the United Nations. Oh, really? Really? And his conclusion was, we now know that all cancers in man and in animals are caused by mycotoxins. He was the MD head, the head MD for the World Health Organization. But let me tell you a little bit more about this fellow. He resigned. And the reason he resigned is because the World Health Organization bosses told him they didn't want him telling people about the cause of cancer. Now, let's move over to the other part of the equation. I know a lot of you think Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile, a child sex trafficker. Okay. And you think that's what his main occupation was. I got news for you. He was a firewall protecting the ringleader for that sexual trafficking, and that would have been Ghislaine Maxwell herself. She was the one that was in charge of it. not him. He was put there as a lightning rod, if you will, to catch the strike, to protect her. But what his real job was, is he had a lot to do with the biological laboratories around the world. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was funding the research in those labs, especially the many labs in the Ukraine. I think the one thing that keeps our leaders in check is the fact that the enemies know the truth, and they can release the truth at any time. But rather than ask the question about what happened to the eggs and the chickens, they've decided they're going to protect us all by inoculating the fucking poultry and the eggs. The man who sits in the Oval Office is not an American firster. He doesn't demonstrate it, does he? What do you think? Is Trump an American firster, or is he not? I don't think he is. He's definitely not. They are going to continue with this bullshit, the bullshit medical practices. Let me tell you about the general global theme of it all. The Rockefellers decided, hey, we can make anything out of this petroleum, including pharmaceuticals. Well, we don't have a marker for pharmaceuticals. Well, we'll just have to get one, won't we? They did get a market for pharmaceuticals by poisoning the rest of us, which is what they've been doing in spades ever since Trump took his hand off that Bible. They've been hitting us with double and triple the spraying that they did before. You need to understand, the Edomites have taken over the planet, and they're going to exterminate Americans. Not just Palestinians, they're going to exterminate Americans. They're doing a good job. All of these food additives that are allowed in this country were made illegal in every European country, the rest of the world. It's illegal to put that shit in the food, but not here. And you know why that is, don't you? That's because the Edomites are at the helm. Stop calling them Israelis. They're Edomites. And stop calling them Jews. Because the Jewish religion, it sucks. That's all there is to it. But the people that are really running the machine pretend they are Jews. They say they are Jews and they are not. The Bible says that in Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. That's what it tells us. So we have the Edomites living in Edom. That's what they should be called. Nothing less than Edom. Let's start calling them what they are. They are Edomites. They have taken over all of Western civilization. They are in the seats of power and influence everywhere. And they're dictating to the rest of us what poisons we're going to eat, drink, breathe, wear, build houses out of, build, furniture out of. They're not going to stop poisoning us. We have to stop them. They are destroying Mother Earth. They are destroying the Earth's ability to support all life. They are the Edomites. You need to know who they are. They are descendants of Esau, who became known as Edom. How do you unite the American people? There's only one thing worth uniting on. Well, we could unite upon a renaissance, if you will. What do we call those things? I can't remember, but they give it a formal name in those big box churches. It's unfortunate that people go to church and never read the Bible because they're easily misled and they think BB's okay. Do you know how many people, how many countries BB is wanted in for war crimes? And he's invited over here? No, I'll tell you what's going to be happening. The intercontinental ballistic missiles are going to be launched. We are going to be all gone within about 72 minutes of that launch. Who's going to launch first? Does it matter? No, it doesn't. But I can tell you this. Nobody trusts the United States of America. Nobody trusts the United States of America. We can't even offer to make peace anymore. Not after what they did with the Minsk Accords or whatever the hell they were, in which they bought time. And I think Trump was part of that whole miserable thing. I don't want to blame it all on Obama. It's the Republicans and Democrats. We need to chop the fuck out of this central government. Got to chop the hell out of it as fast as we can. None of this trying to rebuild it, remake it, all of that. Just chop it off. And there's no reason to give those assholes severance pay. That's nice. That's being very nice. But I wouldn't give them severance pay. They've been hurting the rest of us for too long. They run the Department of Agriculture to run up the price of food. Yes, they help the corporations. They don't help the little guy. They don't help the people. They don't care about the poor. The only thing that we really can agree upon, I mean, it would be nice if we could agree upon returning to Yahweh and abiding by at least the Ten Commandments. It would be wonderful if we could do that. And I think we can agree upon abiding by the Ten Commandments. I think we can. I think even the Muslims will agree to that. I think even Jews, the good Jews, the good figs that Isaiah wrote about, they still exist. I think even they'll be glad to go along with that, willing, eager. But the problem is that the enemy of mankind is in charge. The people who hate us run us. Look at your senators. Look at your congressmen. Do you think they care about you? Do you think they care about your children? I can assure you they don't care about anybody. The whole country has gone that route. People don't care about each other. People don't look out for each other. People don't try to make good, honest transactions, deals, good business. America's got the nukes coming. I'm not going to stop them. Who's going to stop them? You think you're going to stop Yahweh? Yahweh made up his mind a long time ago under these circumstances. And here's the crazy thing. The bad guys are tasked with sifting us. They're given license to sift us. That's their job. But clearly they've exceeded their license. Now they're genociding us. And they're not going to stop until we stop them. They're not going to stop just because of who we put in office. And I know a lot of you say, wait and see what the cowboy does. I hear that. Hear that at the laundromat from the old women. Look, old ladies, you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know up from down. Just because they got good window dressing and a good sales pitch doesn't mean it's wholesome. Not at all. So I am busy scrambling to get my rig going a little bit, well, to get it going, period. It's that bad right now, so please pray for me. I have got my letters going into the congressman shortly. I've got to compose the big long one. And I'm going to give the congressman 20 days, and then I will free to take the liberty to post that entire communication. And I got to get back onto my blog and learn how to operate it again. I was really hoping I'd have a helpmate. I've been hoping and hoping and hoping for years. Have a helpmate, somebody who agreed with my mission, but I don't find anybody who agrees with the mission. you know, saving the world. I think that's a good thing, don't you? My mother kept telling me when I was a little boy, stop trying to save the world. I heard it all the time when I was about age 5, 6, 7. Stop trying to save the world. I would just observe things and speak truthfully and candidly about them. They hated that about me. They didn't want to hear the truth. You don't, well, you want to hear it because you're tuned in. And those 582 subscribers, that's pretty wonderful. That's wonderful. They're tuned in too. Oh, I don't have the page up here. I'd tell you what I'm at right now. But I appreciate every one of you. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a hypocrite because I post my link right up on my Facebook page. And I don't ask people if they're believers first, but I'm going to ask you. Please screen people before you send them the link. Please get them to commit to saying that they're a believer, even if they're a baby Christian or if they're a big box Christian. If they're reading their Bible, that's the key thing. If you've got somebody who's reading their Bible, they can be reached. They can be helped. Doesn't mean they will be. It's hard overcoming the prevailing brainwashing, don't you think? I had a real rough time. I still have a rough time. Oh, for the children. Let's do it for the children. What? Celebrate whose birthday? Celebrate Chislev? Celebrating the 25th of Chislev? Where is my Bible at? Oh my God. You need to know about Christmas. I'll have to cover that in another one. But I want you to know that they've stolen everything and they've got the paper to you and me. They've got certificates of title basically to our asses. They actually stole all the money and put it in a trust fund for us. We have our own trust funds that they never tell us about, and they put millions of dollars in it every year. And the corporations and the banks and especially the hospitals, they all get to withdraw from it. So every time you get a bill, they're also billing your trust fund that's hidden from you. And they're getting money all the way around. The way the law was written in 1933 is that you just needed to point back to the federal government and say, turn to them. Sure, I have no money. There's no money. That stuff, that script, it's an IOU to the Federal Reserve private banking system. You don't own that note, and it's not valid anyway. It's been put in place through a series of frauds. The one uniting factor is this: return to the original structure our founders gave us. That means restoring the real 13th Amendment and enforcing it to the hilt. And the attorneys aren't going to like it, but who gives a fuck about them? Who gives a rat's ass? Look at what they've done to us. They've lied about the whole thing to us and trapped us for their king in England, for the crown of England. I think that all of us can unite. I think the blacks in the South, they'd be right up there with me on that. Let's restore the original structure. You see, when the federal government is limited, then it can actually oversee things to make sure our rights are not being violated. That should be one of its main functions, is to protect the rights that are given to us, that are enshrined in the first 13 amendments and in the Constitution itself. There is no right to vote. That's up to the states. That's where it belongs. We need to return it there as fast as possible. There's no income tax if we get rid of the other amendments. The 16th was never voted on anyway. That's right, they never even voted on it. It was just announced by the acting direct secretary of the Treasury and somebody else that was in a slightly lower position beneath him. I told you they stole it all. They own it all, including you and me. They take that birth certificate, they got it coded up, and it's traded on the open stock market from what I hear. And you can buy your own birth certificate. And basically it's on bond paper because you and I are bond slaves. I'm working my way free of it and out of it. How about you? Do you want to be a free man? Do you really want to be a free man? Do you want to be a free woman? Would you like to have a family, a house, a home, your own white picket fence out front? Would you like to have meaningful work that rewarded you and honest money that you can't be robbed of on a daily basis? Because you see, that's what this crooked ass government has set up with the Jewish bankers. And I hate calling them Jewish, the Edomite bankers. These are atheistic Jews, supposedly, and they've been running the planet for a long time. They've been on the planet for a long time. So the banking bastards have been killing us left and right. They love to kill presidents or people that would make good presidents as well. They killed Patton. They killed Congressman McDonald. That's right, they killed him. Brilliant man. He was a Democrat as well. He was their best hope. He was actually our best hope, actually. If he had become president, it would have been great. If Patton had become president, it would have been great earlier. It would have been very good. Patton was going to reveal the truth about his superiors. They're all communists. They were all Edomites. General Marshall, President FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was an Edomite. But even the end of World War II shocked him as to what they did. He didn't want it at all, but he was not able to take care of things at that point. And here you've got the first beast back in office along with the second beast. That's what it looks like. That's the game they play. They want to mimic the Bible as much as they can. And we were warned. We were warned much more than a year ago. We were warned in October, approximately, a year and a half ago. By the way, we were warned 6 times in one video. It was a 1-hour video. Seemed like it starred Marina Abramovic. And she warned us about this guy. She told us straight up the truth about him. You see, that's what's required, is they have to reveal the truth somewhere, sometime. And she told us truthfully about him. I listened to it. I told others about it. My friends said, no, it's got to be artificial intelligence. They don't believe that would happen. Well, Maria Abramovic told us he is a magician. He's going to unite the world. He's at the highest level of the Satanic Church. That's not quite the case. You see, the highest level of the Satanic Church is actually the lowest level. We're talking the 5th level down, and it is the Magi, the magicians. Simon Magnus, anyone? The first bishop of Rome was Simon Magnus. Or how about the 3 Magi who from the east, from Asia Minor, who visited the baby Messiah? How about those guys? Magi. We've been had, we've been hoodwinked, we've been played. There was really no other option but to put this man into office. And you need to understand, they work for the other side. Just like Biden worked for the other side. Just like Obama worked for the other side. Obama still works for this side. He still has an office in D.C. The only president in history who never left Washington, D.C. Folks, you're going to need to defend yourselves. And I'm spewing out as much as I can the truth. It's not hatred. These are the facts. You have turned your backs on Yahweh. We have turned our backs on Yahweh. And as a result, we have people ruling over us who hate us. Go read the Bible, Leviticus and Deuteronomy. The curses for disobedience to the Ten Commandments. The blessings for obedience to the Ten Commandments. Read those. That's how I figured out who this nation was, where we were living. But at this point, I can tell you clearly that this is Babylon now. We were Israelites when we were founded. And when we conquered this continent, we were Israelites. Nobody wants to know about that. Nobody wants to hear about that. They just want their team to win the game this weekend. Or they want to make sure to get their cold brew when they get whatever to the refrigerator. That's all. I know. And I have to agree with, what was his name? Marcus Aurelius? Yeah. I have to agree with him. The most destructive factor for a man is comfort. Because that's what destroys me. I'm comfortable for the moment. May Yahweh bless. I need some prayers to get this rig going. I don't want to work in Washington, D.C. I'm still sending my resume and everything else in. And in 20 days from that, I will be posting those documents for everyone to see. Unless I'm actually engaged and I don't want to have just a job and to be tied up like other men have been tied up, unable to take action upon the knowledge they have. And if you want to help me out, buy one of my Bibles. Read it. Read it. Read it. And if you want to help me out, recommend this channel to fellow believers, people you have faith and confidence in. We are going to be going through a rough time. They will not find this channel on their own. Even my friends who look for my channel cannot find it on their own. I have to send them links. I'm that heavily shadow banned. May Yahweh bless.